Have you ever noticed the way a man's hand lingers when it touches your chest, the way his fingers pause, the way his breathing changes, as if in that single moment, everything else disappears? Now, most women think it's just about lust. They think, oh, he's just turned on. He just wants me physically. And yes, there's desire there. But what if I told you that when a man touches your chest, what he secretly craves runs much deeper than just the physical? See, men aren't as simple as people make them out to be. We like to think of men as visual creatures who only care about what they see or what they touch. But in reality, that single touch carries layers of meaning. It's not just about pleasure, it's about reassurance, connection, and even vulnerability. Think about it, if all he wanted was the physical, he could touch you anywhere. But why there? Why does that specific gesture matter so much to him? Because your chest isn't just a part of your body, it represents comfort, closeness, and intimacy. It's his way of reaching beyond the surface, of asking a silent question: do you want me to? Am I safe here? Do I belong with you? And here's the part most women miss. His touch isn't random. It's his way of showing you who he really is underneath the confidence, underneath the playfulness, underneath the strong exterior. In that moment, what he's craving isn't just your body, it's your energy, your acceptance, your response. So today, I'm going to reveal exactly what men secretly crave when they touch your chest, because once you understand this, you'll never see his touch the same way again. In fact, you'll realize it's not just about him wanting you, it's about him needing something far more powerful than you think. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to look at his touch and know exactly what it means. And trust me, it's going to change the way you connect with him forever. Let's get into the first secret. When a man touches your chest, what he craves more than anything else in that moment is validation of his desire. Now, I know what you might be thinking: validation. Really? He's the one touching me. Shouldn't I be the one feeling validated? But let's peel this back. For men, physical touch isn't just physical, it's communication. When his hand moves to your chest, he's not just exploring your body, he's asking a silent, powerful question: do you want me to? Here's the truth most women don't realize. Men, even the confident ones, are terrified of rejection. They might put on a front, acting bold, playful, sometimes even cocky, but deep down, crave proof that you're not just allowing the touch, you're enjoying it. That difference between tolerance and desire is massive to him. Think about it this way. When a man touches your chest, he's stepping into vulnerable territory. He's risking that you might pull away, that you might tense up, that you might not respond. And trust me, men notice those tiny signals. Whether you lean into him or whether you stiffen to him, that reaction is like a green light or a red stop sign. Here's where it gets powerful. If you respond in a way that shows you enjoy it, maybe you smile, maybe you lean closer, maybe you breathe just a little deeper. You're telling him, yes, I want this too. You turn me on. And that's the validation he's secretly craving, not because he's insecure, but because he wants to know he excites you, that you feel the same spark he does. Now let's flip this for a second. Imagine you're touching him, maybe running your hand down his arm or across his chest. What feels better, him just standing there like a statue, or him reacting, his breath catching, his eyes locking on yours, his body leaning into your touch? Exactly. It's the reaction that makes you feel powerful, desired, connected. Men crave that same thing. Here's the mistake many women make. They assume men don't need that kind of reassurance, that they're just these unstoppable machines of confidence. But ladies, even the most confident guy in the heat of that moment is looking for one thing: confirmation. So how do you give it? You don't need to overdo it. You don't need to put on some Hollywood performance. It can be subtle: your body language leaning toward him, a playful smile, a soft sigh. These are tiny signals that scream, yes, I feel this too. And when he feels that something shifts inside him, his confidence skyrockets, his passion deepens, and he feels closer to you, not just physically, but emotionally. But let's go even deeper. Why does this validation matter so much? Because men want to feel chosen. Every time he touches you in an intimate way, he's putting himself out there. He's saying, I choose you, I want you. And what he secretly craves is for you to send that same energy back. to make him feel like he's not just the one pursuing, but the one being desired. Ladies, let me tell you this, the most powerful thing you can give a man isn't just permission, it's enthusiasm. When you show him that his touch excites you, that you're not just okay with it, but into it, you're feeding his deepest craving to be wanted, not just accepted. And here's the beautiful part. Once he feels that validation, he relaxes, he opens up, he lets go of the need to prove himself and instead focuses on connecting with you. That's when the intimacy shifts from being just physical to being truly emotional. So the next time his hand finds its way to your chest, remember, it's not just about the touch, it's a question. And your response, whether subtle or bold, is the answer he's secretly craving. Answer it with desire, and you'll watch him light up in ways you've never seen before. Now let's move to the second thing men secretly crave when they touch your chest, and this one might surprise you. It's emotional connection. See, most women underestimate how emotional men really are. We've been trained to think of men as purely physical beings, driven only by attraction, desire, and chemistry. And yes, that's part of it. But when his hand moves to your chest, it's not only about passion, it's his way of trying to close the emotional gap between you. Think of it like this: a kiss is emotional, a hug is emotional, but so is his touch. That moment is about intimacy, not just skin. It's his silent way of saying, I want to be close to you. I want to feel connected to you in a way that words can't express. And here's where women often miss the signal, because you might feel it as just physical touch. But to him, it's layered. That's why if you pay attention, you'll notice his touch changes depending on how he feels about you. When a man is just attracted to you, his touch is often rushed, hungry, urgent. But when he's in love, his touch softens, he lingers, he slows down. That difference is everything. Let me ask you this, ladies, have you ever felt a man hold you in a way that felt like he wasn't just touching your body, but he was reaching for your heart? That's exactly what's happening here. That touch is his way of bridging the emotional distance between you. Now, why does this matter so much? Because men struggle with words. They're not always great at sitting down and saying, I feel vulnerable, I need closeness, I need reassurance. Instead, they use actions. Touch becomes their language. And your chest, because of its association with intimacy, closeness, and comfort, becomes the perfect canvas for him to paint that emotion. Let's go even deeper. When he touches you there, he's not just thinking about lust, he's thinking about belonging. He craves that moment where his body and yours aren't separate, but connected. It's almost childlike in a beautiful way, just like when you hug someone tight and don't want to let go, not because of passion, but because of love, comfort, and the fear of losing that connection. And ladies, here's the part you'll love: when a man feels emotionally connected to you through touch, everything else changes. He listens more, he cares more, he invests more, because to him, that emotional bond is the thing that elevates you from just physical chemistry to someone he can't imagine being without. So what can you do to deepen that connection in the moment? Simple: match his energy. If his touch is soft, lean into it. If his breathing slows, let yours align with his. If he's reaching for closeness, don't just sit still, wrap him in your presence, because when he feels that emotional reciprocity, it tells him, she's not just here with me physically, she's here with me emotionally. Think of it like dancing. If he leads with gentleness and you respond with resistance, the connection is broken. But if he leads with gentleness and you follow with openness, you create a rhythm that bonds you together. That's what he craves, the rhythm of emotional intimacy, not just the act of touch. Ladies, let me tell you, the men who crave this level of connection are the ones worth keeping, because it means his touch isn't just about the thrill, it's about the bond. And if you recognize it, if you respond to it, you'll find that his desire for you isn't just about tonight, it's about forever. So remember this: the next time his hand finds its way to your chest, don't just think of it as passion. Think of it as his way of saying, I need you, I feel you, I'm connecting with you beyond words. And when you respond with that same openness, that's when physical touch transforms into emotional intimacy. And trust me, once he feels that, he'll never see you as just another woman. He'll see you as the woman who understands the depth of his touch and the depth of his heart. Now, here's something most women don't realize: when a man touches your chest, he's not only craving the physical sensation. What he's really drawn to in that moment is the power of your femininity. Let me explain. Men live in a world where they're constantly expected to be strong, tough, logical. in control. Out there, in his job in society, in his circle of friends, he has to put on the armor. But when he's with you, when his hand reaches for your chest, he's craving something completely different. He's craving softness. He's craving warmth. He's craving that feminine energy that only you can give. Your chest is more than a physical feature. It's symbolic. It represents comfort, nurture, sensuality, and intimacy. It's the very opposite of the hard, rigid, masculine world he lives in every day. When he touches you there, he's not just touching your body. He's tapping into the energy of what makes you different from him. It's not just lust, it's magnetism. Think of it like this. You've heard people talk about masculine and feminine energy, right? Masculine energy pushes forward. Feminine energy draws in. When he touches your chest, he's subconsciously surrendering to that pull, letting himself be drawn into your orbit. He's saying, I want to feel your softness. I want to be enveloped in your warmth. I want to step out of the world where I have to be hard and step into a space where I can just be. And ladies, here's where you have more power than you realize. Men don't just crave your body, they crave what your femininity makes them feel. That sense of being welcomed, soothed, and grounded. When his hand rests against you, he's connecting with that feminine energy that calms his chaos. Have you ever noticed how different a man is when he's with a woman who truly leans into her feminine side? He relaxes, he softens, he stops performing and starts being. That's what he's looking for in that moment. He's craving not just your body, but the sanctuary of your presence. Now, here's the key. Your response can either amplify that feeling or block it. If you tense up, if you hold back, if you act disconnected, you interrupt the flow of that energy. But if you lean in, if you let your softness meet his touch, if you breathe into that moment, you're not just responding physically, you're feeding his deepest craving. You're giving him what he can't get anywhere else. And that, my friends, is why he keeps coming back. It's not just the thrill of your body, it's the way your femininity makes him feel. Let me paint a picture. Imagine him after a long, stressful day. His mind is racing, his body is tense, he's been on all day, then he comes home to you. He touches your chest and suddenly everything slows down. The noise in his head fades. His guard drops. For the first time that day, he's not thinking about the world, he's thinking about you. That's the power of your feminine energy. And here's the beautiful secret. It's not about trying harder or performing. You don't need to do anything elaborate. You just need to be present. Let him feel that you're with him in that moment, not as a performer, not as someone ticking boxes, but as a woman radiating softness, warmth, and acceptance. Because ultimately, what men secretly crave in that touch is the reminder that they don't have to be strong all the time, that they can let go. They can surrender to the pull of your femininity and feel whole again. So ladies, the next time he touches your chest, remember this, he's not just reaching for your body. He's reaching for your energy. And if you let him feel it, if you allow your femininity to shine through, you'll give him something no one else can. Not just passion, but peace. Now let's talk about something a lot of women don't realize. When a man touches your chest, there's desire. Yes, there's passion, but underneath all of that, what he often craves, sometimes without even knowing it himself, is reassurance and security. Think about it. Men walk around in this world carrying so much pressure. They're expected to provide, to perform, to impress, to protect. And in that constant performance, they don't often get the chance to admit they need comfort. They don't get to show vulnerability out in the world. But when he's with you, when his hand moves to your chest, that's often his way of saying, I need a safe place. I need to feel like I can let my guard down. Your chest, to him, isn't just a sensual part of your body. It's a symbol of closeness, warmth, and trust. It's where his restless energy can finally find stillness. That's why, if you've ever noticed, men sometimes rest their head against your chest after intimacy. In that moment, they're not chasing pleasure anymore. They're chasing peace. They're saying, without words, I feel safe here. And ladies, here's the secret, that craving for reassurance is one of the most vulnerable sides of a man. Because in touching you this way, he's not just showing desire, he's exposing need. He's letting you see the part of him that doesn't want to be the strong one all the time. Now, let's be honest, we often hear that men are the protectors, the providers, the ones who create safety. But the truth is, men crave safety too, especially emotional safety. And where do they look for it? In you, in your presence, in your touch, in the way you respond when they reach out. Imagine this, he's had a rough day. Work stressed him out. His confidence took a hit. He's been carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Then he reaches for you, not aggressively, not urgently, but gently. That touch on your chest is his way of saying, remind me I matter, remind me I'm enough, remind me I'm not alone. And your response in that moment can either reinforce that safety or shake it. If you pull away, if you seem distant, he feels rejected, not just physically, but emotionally. But if you meet his touch with warmth, if you let him feel your acceptance, your softness, your calm, then something amazing happens. He exhales, he releases, he lets go of the performance and just is. Ladies, you might not realize how powerful that is. But for a man, that reassurance is addictive. It's what makes him not just desire you, but depend on you in the most beautiful way, not out of weakness, but out of trust. Here's something I want you to remember when a man feels safe with you, when he feels reassured by your presence. He bonds with you on a level that no physical attraction alone can achieve. Because attraction might bring him close, but reassurance keeps him there. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how a man will hold you tighter when he's stressed, or how his touch feels different when he's worried about something? That's not just passion, it's vulnerability. That's him reaching for reassurance. And the more you recognize that, the more powerful you become in his life. Because you're no longer just the woman he desires. You're the woman who grounds him, who calms him, who gives him that rare feeling of home. So the next time he touches your chest, don't just see it as physical passion. See it as his way of asking, can I rest here? Can I be safe with you? And when you answer that question with warmth, with acceptance, with presence, you're giving him the one thing he can't get anywhere else. Because at the end of the day, what men secretly crave isn't just your body. It's the reassurance that with you, they can finally put their guard down. And that, ladies, is more intimate than anything physical ever could be. If you've ever wished your partner came with an instruction manual, you're not alone. One of the greatest challenges in intimacy is deciphering the unspoken, those little cues, expressions, and habits that reveal what a man truly wants but might never put into words. The truth is, most men are far more emotional than they are given credit for. However, instead of speaking directly about their vulnerabilities, they tend to communicate through actions, body language, and subtle hints. Understanding these signals is not just about improving your connection in bed, it's about deepening your emotional bond overall. Let's start with a common scenario. You're together, maybe watching a movie, and he pulls you closer. He doesn't say a word, but the way he holds you tighter, the way he exhales when you lean in, speaks volumes. That isn't just comfort, it's his way of telling you, I need you. I want to feel close to you. Men often use touch as their emotional language. It's where they feel safest expressing themselves without the fear of judgment. Another subtle sign is his willingness to linger in intimacy. Some men might not vocalize their needs, but if he stays close after physical moments, holding you, brushing your hair back, or simply lying in silence, it reveals he craves not only the physical release, but the emotional reassurance that comes after. To him, these quiet moments are as powerful as words like, I love you. Now, consider his behavior outside the bedroom. Does he go out of his way to fix something in the house? Does he check in on you when you're stressed, or make small sacrifices just to make your day smoother? These actions may seem practical on the surface, but they're also his way of showing, I'm invested, I want to be your safe place. When men express care through actions, they're often quietly hoping for recognition and intimacy in return, even if they never ask outright. Here's the challenge: if you don't know how to interpret these cues, they can easily go unnoticed. You might think he's just being routine, when in reality he's putting his heart on display in the only way he feels comfortable. That's why paying attention matters. When you notice and respond to these signals, maybe by holding his hand, thanking him, or initiating intimacy, you create a cycle of reassurance that makes him feel seen and valued. Understanding his emotional signals also helps when things don't go smoothly. For example, if he's quiet or withdrawn, it might not mean disinterest. Often men retreat when they're overwhelmed, not because they don't care, but because they're processing emotions privately. If you misinterpret this silence as rejection, the distance between you grows. But if you recognize it as his way of coping, you can respond with patience and warmth, maybe a gentle touch or a calm presence, showing him that he doesn't have to navigate it alone. Think of this as learning a new language, the unspoken language of your partner. Once you tune in, you'll notice how much he communicates without words. The way he looks at you across the room, the small sighs of contentment when you're near, the way his voice softens during certain conversations, all of these are emotional breadcrumbs leading you deeper into his world. At the heart of it, men want to be understood just as much as women do. They want to know that their efforts, no matter how subtle, are noticed and appreciated. When you acknowledge these quiet gestures and respond with affection, you validate not just his desires, but also his identity as a partner. And when that happens, intimacy transforms. It stops being just about physical connection and becomes a powerful exchange of trust, security, and love. So the next time he doesn't say what he's feeling, don't assume it's silence. Look closer. His actions, his presence, and even his quiet moments are speaking to you. All you need to do is listen with your heart. When you step back and look at everything we've uncovered, a clear picture emerges. Men may not always verbalize their deepest desires, but they communicate them in countless subtle ways, from craving acceptance without judgment, to yearning for emotional safety, to finding comfort in touch and reassurance. Their unspoken needs are often louder than words. The real key is awareness. Once you learn to notice his body language, his small acts of care, and those quiet moments of closeness, you'll begin to see intimacy in an entirely new light. You'll realize that what he craves isn't just physical. It's emotional security, connection, and the assurance that he is truly seen and valued by you. This understanding transforms relationships. Instead of waiting for him to spell everything out, you can meet him halfway, anticipating, responding, and nurturing his needs in ways that make him feel safe to open up even more. And when a man feels that level of trust and recognition, he doesn't just love harder, he loves deeper, more consistently, and with a loyalty that's unshakable. So if you've ever wondered, what does he really want but never says? Now you know. It's not always about grand gestures or dramatic words. Sometimes it's about the quiet touches, the patient listening, and the subtle affirmations that remind him he is enough. Understand his silence, respond to his signals, and watch your connection grow stronger than you ever imagined.